The famous Cosworth name is actually a combination of the company's two founders' last name, that being Mike Coston and Keith Duckworth. The Cosworth series of cars started in '86 and ran for 10 years, so there are obviously Cosworths in all Ford's popular body shapes.
When you think four-wheel drive in South Africa, you think Subaru. Subaru is okay, but then you get real four-wheel drives, which is a Cosworth. There's not many in the country, but there's a family from Clarksville that actually owns the majority of the ones that are legally in the country. This one belongs to Mo from Speedy Car Sales. We're going to take a closer look at it. Okay, so Mo, this isn't the only Cosworth your family has got. Who's got what?
Okay, actually my uncle Farouk has got the other two. Blue one, red one, and obviously this black one, yeah.
Okay, and then on this car, this is your car, this one.
That's right.
Okay, what have you actually done to this car to make it different to your standard Cosworth?
Okay, what we've done is we've got an H&R spring kit in here that's lowered it around about 20 mils, that's all. We've done the 18-inch equipped wheels with Yokohama tires. Yes, we've got the cross-drilled brakes, and at the back it's still standard.
So handling-wise, how is this car if you throw it around on the open road?
Excellent. There is nothing like this on the open road. This thing sticks.
Have you come up against any Subarus?
Yes, we have.
You killed them?
Killed them.
Okay, now these Cosworths are awesome looking cars. What have you actually done body-wise on the car?
Nothing. Everything that you see comes out straight from the Ford factory as is. These things were built 94, 95, 96, 3 years, and this is one of the latest ones to come out of the Ford factory. You'll see a few differences, especially on the motor. It's got a newer revised motor, newer mirrors compared to the older ones, and obviously the 96s had the British flag put into their rear wing.
What changes it to the Cosworth motor since you've got the car?
Okay, all that we've done, big changes that we've done is we've sent in the turbo and put a bigger wheel on it, and basically we've added NOS.
Yeah, what is the power on the standard Cosworth as opposed to your Cosworth then?
Standard, they come out at around about 195 kilowatts from the factory running normal boost, and this one as it's standing is running at around about 237 kilowatts.
That's with the nitrous?
Without the nitrous.
The engine they decided on was a normal 2-litre 4-cylinder lump with a 16-valve cylinder head that originally made 150 kilowatts, but the last production version had around 170 kilowatts. Unfortunately, here in South Africa, we never officially got them. They were all private imports.
The boots of most cars are reserved for shopping and stuff that women actually use stuff for, which is useless. Mo's changed this quite a bit. Take a look in here and Mo, tell us what you've done. Okay,
what we've basically done is we've added a nice little box that gives us some good base, especially when you're putting the woman into the car. We've done a custom install which is done in-house by us at our place in Clarksville. And yeah, we've gone for two 12-inch subs, the amp, and obviously the NOS bottle where everyone can see it.
So that's more for intimidation than anything else?
More for intimidation than anything else.
And then up front, what head unit have you used for the sound system?
We're using a JVC head unit, Ep.3, which has got a 4-volt pre-out on it, and we're using Jensen splits front and rear.
So it's a full house sound system?
It's a full house sound system, yes. Set up for sound quality, obviously, so you won't hear the big bass, but enjoyable.
Okay, Mo, what changes have you made to the interior of the Cosy?
Nothing much. We've done a set of aluminium paddles inside, the NOS button, which helps quite a bit, and besides that, all the gauges and stuff like that all stocked how the car comes out of the factory.
So the boost gauge is actually in a pretty decent position.
Yes, exactly where you can see it. Don't have to take your eye far off the road. And
I see it goes up to 1.3 bar. What do you actually run the car up to?
It's running on about 1.5 at the moment, so it actually goes over the red.
And then I see it's marked off in miles per hour, and the inside has got kilometers per hour there.
Yes.
Where have you taken that red needle to?
We've taken it, I would say, between 240 and 250.
Nice.
Where the road does permit you.
Brilliant.
Over the 4-year production period of this shape, a mere 7,145 cars were built, practically by hand too. In other words, an Escort Cosworth is rare, which is why any normal red-blooded man needn't make any excuses for the stiffness in his crotch area after seeing one. With this being a 96 model, it's more rare. There were actually only 68 produced in this final year. This beauty only has 48,000 kilometers on the clock, so it's even more special. I bet you'd love to own one of these babies too.
That was a pretty serious machine, eh, Will?
If you think that's something, you should see Logan's Lotus. That's awesome. There's less of those in the country than the Cosworth.
What's so special about it?
Well, it's small, weighs nothing. It's got a transplant with a Mazda 2-litre 16-valve turbo motor in. It's a weight in gas, and it runs 11.6 seconds on the quarter mile.
And it's raced by a basketball player.
Close, volleyball player.
Okay.
Just as tall. This is Rainbow Raceway, this is Logan Micah, and that's his car.
The Lotus is not a common car on South African roads. There are only a few examples of this one, dubbed the Exige. In England, where they're manufactured, they're very common as they're sold as race-ready track cars that are street legal.
Logan, you're well known in the racing circles. Everybody knows you as a racer. Our readers all know you as a racer. But we've actually heard some rumours lately about something to do with colours and volleyball.
Oh, that's very interesting. From '87, I used to play a lot of beach volleyball and indoor volleyball. I actually have Natal colours and Transvaal colours for indoor volleyball. I played a lot of beach in Cape Town and Durban, and I've also made the South African squad in 1988.
Yeah, so you can see we actually do our homework at Speed and Sound. Before you had the Lotus, you used to have a delivery van that could do about 300 k's an hour. Can you tell us more about the van, where it's gone and what it did?
Yeah, I've actually got to purchase that vehicle in 1997 from Andre Hubert, and we took it into Sebi Kutsia for a complete revamp. The car, or the bakkie, actually still holds the 1 kilometer and 800 meter record at ODI.
What's the main difference between the Lotus and the bakkie?
Yeah, Chris, towards in 2003, the speeds were getting too high in the bakkie. I was actually scared sitting in a front wheel drive at 300 k's an hour if something breaks. In terms of safety, you know, Mazda Rustler was made to do 180 k's, and we're pushing it to 300 k's in a short distance.
Okay, now as far as we know, the Lotus comes out with an 1800 VTEC motor, I think it is. What have you changed now? What have you upgraded yours to?
I've actually taken off the engine, which is the 1800 Rover engine, which makes 120 bhp, and I've actually replaced it with a 2-litre Mazda engine with the just the conrods changed to be more reliable, and we stepped on the charge cooler and the turbo.
So with the engine that you've actually got in here now, what are the performance figures like of the car as opposed to standard?
The standard engine that comes from the factory, I've done a 14.4 quarter mile, 195 on the 1K. With this, with the conversion, we dropped it down to 11.6 quarter mile with a 207 on the quarter mile. I'm actually running a T3, T4 Turbonetics turbo and running a boost of about 1.65, 1.7 bar.
What is the turbo rated at? What kind of horsepower do they rate a turbo of that spec?
A turbo of that spec you can make up to about 440 bhp.
And then it's on a custom manifold that was built by who?
The manifold, together with the charge cooler, was done with the help of Skalk Hudsenberg from Skalk's Conversion.
Okay, in the motor itself, there you've got like a nice finish to that dark gunmetal grey. So everything looks professional and nicely done. What have you done there to make it look like that?
What Sebi actually did was the intake manifold and the tappet cover was from my bakkie. We actually took it out and had it powder coated by some guys in Boksburg.
And then I see on the inlet manifold there's 4 little things sticking out that say NOS on them. What are those for, and why aren't they connected to any piping?
Okay, those were, that's, as I told you, that's the actual old intake manifold from a bakkie. Those are 4 stainless steel nitrous foggers. They haven't been connected until I've actually do my proper engine, and then I have those piped up.
So how much power will be from the nitrous alone once you've set it up?
I would like to run maybe 150 horsepower kit, and my aim is to at least make 550 bhp on the wheels.
Okay, now see, just to the side of your turbo, you've got an external wastegate there. What make have you chosen, and what does it actually do in the turbo conversion?
It's actually just a motorsport wastegate. It prevents the boost from actually running. You can set up the boost, and if you set the boost on a bar, it makes sure that it stays on the bar and doesn't jump up to 1.3 or 1.4 bar. I just upgraded to a 7AL MSD system with a Blaster 3 coil, and I have a two-step system, which is one is to launch the car with the launch controller. If, for example, you want to launch the car from 4,600 RPM, you set it on 4,000, you hit a button on your steering, and you hold it on stage, and you launch the car.
What's done on the inside of the car then?
Well, it comes standard with 2 carbon fiber seats. The other changes that have been done, Rob Green from Rob Green Motorsport has actually sponsored me a steering wheel with controls. It actually has a hooter button separately. It has a launch control, a high boost control, and a nitrous control, all on one steering. And the steering is clip off. Because of my long legs, to jump in and out the car, we actually clip off the steering and you can get in easier.
The Exige handles brilliantly thanks to a rigid suspension setup and the small size of the car. That was part of the thinking in the project. Logan didn't just want a car for straight line racing, the car also had to be competitive on hill climb and track events.
Logan, thanks a lot for your time today. Speaking of time, that's a pretty fancy watch you got there.
Oh, it's 10 to 11, it's the speed and sound one.
Brilliant. You can buy those from the office if you want. Well, anyway, thanks a lot, Logan. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
See you at the track.
Okay.
The car looks and sounds awesome, so you really have to see it in action. It's usually found lurking at Rainbow Raceway, so if you're in the mood for class with speed, you know where you're going. Out of the few here in South Africa, 2 of them have been treated to an engine transplant, and as far as research shows, the 2 strongest and fastest in the world were built in Johannesburg. Alex Fernandez has been on the racing scene for many years and has only stuck to the VW mark. He's worked his way up from fast aspirated Golfs to nitrous-assisted Golfs to turbo and nitrous-assisted Golfs. This car is the current front-wheel drive record holder over 1 kilometer with a terminal speed of 268 kilometers an hour. That's in excess of supercar performance.
Okay, your full name is Alejandro Fernandez.
That's right.
That means you're a foreigner.
Spanish.
So what motor are you actually running in the Golf right now?
It's a 2-litre 16-valve Golf motor with turbo and nitrous.
Okay, what mods have you done to the actual engine to get it to run with those?
Well, basically, it's a Golf 3 GTI 2E subassembly. Nothing's been done to the subassembly. It's stock standard with a 16-valve head put onto that, and obviously just the turbo bolted on and the nitrous.
Okay, what make and size turbo are you running on the car?
It's a Garrett. It's a T3, T4. It's a bit of a mixture.
Okay, what is the power rating then of the car with turbo alone and then the car with the nitrous itself?
Well, the car's made at about 2-bar boost. It made 370 around there kilowatts on the wheels. That's without the nitrous. With the nitrous, we haven't had the car on the dyno yet.
So what are the performance figures like for your car right now?
Well, the best time I've run on the quarter mile is 11.7 at 210 k's an hour, and on the 1k it's a 268.
The car's also sponsored by Yokohama, as we've mentioned. What do they really give you?
Well, they give you a set of 17-inch mags with tyres, obviously. The tyres are 205 4017 Paradas, and then they also give you a set of intermediates, obviously with the mags to go with that as well. The intermediates are size 16. That's basically what you get from them.
On your back window, you've got a big Topsport Developments logo, and this obviously isn't your normal Golf engine. Can you explain to us what's been done in this engine bay, what everything is, and how Topsport have helped you do it?
Yeah, well, basically Topsport built the whole motor and everything. They maintain the car as well. It's also a sponsor to me. So yeah, anything that breaks or anything like that, they basically maintain the vehicle.
Okay, can you explain to me what your inlet manifold is compared to what the advantage is with that inlet manifold over the standard one from the Golf?
All right, well, basically what it does is it distributes the air going into each cylinder more evenly.
Your external wastegate there, what make are you using and why did you choose the one you've got?
It's a Turbonetics Delta Gate wastegate that we're using. Basically reliability of the wastegate.
And then your MSD ignition, I see you've got a lot of MSD things lying around the engine bay here. What do those actually do? What are they for?
Well, that's basically what happened was we were running into a problem. The car was breaking down the spark, obviously at the high boost that we ran in that. So MSD was the best option to go for.
And what boost levels do you actually run in the car? Because that's quite a scary subject in your car.
Well, that's one thing that I don't like to lie about. The car normally runs on about 2 bar boost. The car has seen a lot higher than that. It has been to about 2.7 bar. But yeah, normally on the track, it's between 1.6 and 2 bar.
The interior of your car is pretty much race inspired. Can you give us a lowdown on the gauges, what they're there for, what they do?
Well, basically we've got a rich lean gauge, which is obviously, it just measures the fuel mixture and air ratio in the motor. Then obviously we've got a boost gauge, which is obviously just tells you how much the car is boosting. We've got a voltmeter gauge, obviously it measures the voltage of the battery and that. We've got a fuel pressure gauge that basically just tells you what the fuel pressure is. Obviously if it's too high, too low, whatever the case is. We've got an oil temperature gauge, which is on the big tachometer. The tachometer is basically just a RPM gauge. It's equipped with a shift light as well. Obviously the shift light you can basically set it at whatever RPM you want, and then basically when you reach that RPM in the gear, then the light comes on basically just to warn you to change gears. Inside that we've got the oil pressure, we've got the water temperature and the oil as well included in that gauge.
What do you set your revs at for the shift light to come on?
We normally set it at about 7,500, 8,000 RPM.
Okay, now one of the strangest things on the interior of your car is the brake booster sitting in front of my feet. Can you explain to me why and how?
Basically we did that for space.
How many meters of piping make this roll cage up?
36 meters if I'm not mistaken.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks.
The car can be seen in action on all of Gauteng's racetracks and also goes with the Speed and Sound crew to all of the away events. So if you want to see it in the flesh, you have a pretty good chance.
Basically. Why so many basicallys? Why Alejandro?
Basically, I think Alejandro was basically a bit nervous. So when he basically did the interview for us, he basically said the word a few times.
Okay. I don't want to hear the word basically again, Chris.
Nah, it gets better from here. It's basically over.
Promise.
Basically. When your car's inlet manifold, you get a thing called the throttle body. It obviously lets the air into the motor along with the fuel. And then you get aftermarket throttle bodies. That's one of these babies. Most of you will never have seen one before in your life. I've only seen them a few times myself. So we're here at the factory in Pretoria where Precision Race Technology throttle bodies are made to see a little bit about them, what goes into them and the benefits of putting them onto your car. Cool, so let's go through the workshop and see how these puppies are put together. Okay, now we're here to see Marius Kutzer from Stefan Machining in Pretoria. He's the man who's in charge of the PRT throttle project. He controls the manufacture of them. He's going to take us through the whole process from beginning to end. So Marius, take it away for us.
We start off with using a computer program to design the whole product. After that, we use another computer program to write a CNC program to cut it on the CNC machines. Most of the parts are made on CNC, although some of them are being cut on laser cutting and some press work, but most of all CNC machine parts. Okay, this is a CNC machine. We will put the block of aluminium in, and the machine will cut it from start to end. Here is a control panel where the program is inserted. The machine will cut it. Whatever the program you put in here, the machine will cut it from the start to the end, completely by doing tool changes and without any human interference. Will finish the whole product. This is the most important button, the emergency stop.
Okay, this is Vic Pardal from Precision Race Technologies. Vic, what do you actually do with the company? What is your role?
Basically, I'm the marketing executive. I market the throttle bodies, make sure they get to the right target audience, make sure all the boys that are interested in increasing their performance on their vehicles get a set of these babies.
Firstly, what's the difference between these and side drafts?
Side drafts. Side draft is basically a carburetor which works on jets and emulsion tubes, whereas a throttle body works almost on the same concept. It also has butterflies, as you can see, similar to what a side rod has. The only thing is, side rods work off emulsion tubes and jets, whereas this works off an injector. As you can see here, this one here has injector positioning. Basically the jet injector would fit on top and it would spray. Basically the air and the fuel mixture would go into the combustion chamber, and that's basically the basic difference between carburetor and throttle bodies. Throttle bodies works off fuel injection, whereas sides on side rods, carburetor, emulsion tubes and so forth.
What parts go into a set of throttle bodies?
It's actually pretty simple, let me show you. As you can see here, basically this is the base. Made out of solid billet aircraft aluminium. Basically then you get a shaft, which you fit the two butterflies on. This here, I'm trying to show you guys, would fit inside there. As you open throttle, whoop, whoop.
Whoop. What the hell is whoop?
I don't know, I think that's a sound that a throttle body makes when it's not fitted to a car.
A whoop.
Maybe that comes standard with Tourette's.
In the middle, you'd have the tension spring, so that when your foot is off the throttle, it would close. And on top here, we have the injector plates. Now what's nice about precision throttle bodies is positioning for 8 injector plates. Basically on a set of twins. So on one, you'd have 4. So you can actually run up to 4 injectors on one twin body, and on a set of 2, you'd be running 8 injectors. Or, for the boys that want some serious power, you run 4 injectors on top, and you run 4 NOS injectors at the bottom. If you just want to run 4 injectors, then we basically rock this off and give you a little plate. It's gone AWOL on us, hold on one moment. Basically then you'd only use 4 injectors. Pretty basic design. It's nothing complex like the carburetor. And the injectors fit on there and they spray. On the same note, we have the fuel rail, which is also made out of solid billet aircraft aluminium. But fit on a complete example, let me show you over there.
Okay. Can a set of your throttle bodies be fitted to any car? Because I've only really seen them on 4 cylinders. Can you do them on 6, 8 cylinder cars?
They fit on any car as long as you got the inlet manifold to fit. Basically we make one up for you, or you make one up yourself, or there's many available from performance outlets. This one here, being a VTEC manifold, this would fit onto the head of the car, and then this would fit there. Basically that's it. So as long as you got the inlet manifold to fit the head of your specific vehicle, the throttle bodies will fit any car.
With some serious precision technology, you can go from this
to a serious performance upgrade precision throttle body like this.
Shall we go fit some?
Hell yeah!
Cool.
That was a pretty good show, but this whole basically thing, I swear I counted 52 basicallys.
You might basically be right, but I think what we should do is, the viewers out there, see how many of them actually counted basicallys. They must email us, let us know, and the guy who gets it right can win a basic prize. Just remember, Speed and Sound's not just a TV program. It's the leading performance magazine available at newsagents countrywide. On the shelves now is issue 41, featuring some serious cars, like this RX-7 13B turbo. Pretty damn quick. Inside there we've got a 200 SX with a Skyline engine transplant. We've got events like Northwest South and Cape Town, and we've even got a Yokohama tyre product launch from Dubai. You want to go get it? It's on the shelves for 2 more weeks. Go get it now. Okay.
Take 2. It's Chris's fault! It's his fault!
Okay, let's try this again.
I'm gonna look at the camera because your ass make me laugh. Yo, what's up, what's up? Sir.
Okay, so on the complete throttle.
That like he's smoking some good
I don't know what's going on there.